So in the morning, we looked into port 0 and we saw one program associated with port 0. The program was we were reading the status of the switch, and whatever is the status, if the switch is on, we were turning on the LED, and if the switch is off, we were turning off the LED. Okay, so that was related to port 0. We saw how the port 0 functions, what is the internal structure of port 0, and we did one or two programs related to it. We will move ahead. So we will look into port 1. Okay, port 1, pin numbers 1 to 8. These are the pins associated with port 1. Right? Port 1 is a dedicated general purpose input output port. Right? So port 1 is only going to function as an input or an output port. It has a single functionality. It will only act as a general purpose IO port, GPIO. Okay. Right. So port 1, its address is 90 hex. Right. It again, you can use it as an 8-bit port, or you can use it as 1-bit port, or you can use it as a 4-bit port. In any combination of bits, you can use it. Right. So if it is 1 bit, we refer it as P1.1, P1.2 up to P1.7. You can refer the ports by their name or by their addresses. So if you want to refer port 1 by its address, 8-bit port 1, then the address is 90 hex. And if you want to access each and every bit of the port, then the addresses are 9091, 92 up to 9797 hex. Right? Now, again, a point to remember, in all those instructions, whatever instruction set you have studied, in all those instructions, wherever there is direct address, okay, or when the instruction is of direct addressing mode, at all those places I can write the address of SFRs. Correct. The direct address can be the internal memory address, or the direct address can be the address of an SFR, special function register. Whereas when you say SFR, again you have two options: either refer the SFR by its address or refer the SFR by its name. Okay, so wherever there is direct addressing mode, I can write these special function registers by their 8-bit address or by their name. Please remember this. Okay, so if it is a 1-bit, P1.1, P1.2 up to P1.7, whereas the addresses are 909192 up to 97 hex are the bit addresses. Okay, and whenever we reset microcontroller, again, like port 0, whenever microcontroller is reset, logic 1 will appear on all the port pins. Right, logic 1 will appear on all P1.1, P1.2 up to P1.7. And when logic 1 is sent by the microcontroller, it means those pins are initialized as input pins. Okay, so when we reset microcontroller, this is for all the ports. When we reset microcontroller, logic 1 is sent on all the port pins, and thus the pins start functioning as inputs. So on reset, the pins are initialized as inputs. They are ready to read. Okay, so just for an example, few instructions have been written here. If you're using it as a 1-bit port, then the instruction is set bit P1.5. That is how you sent logic 1. Set bit P1.5 or CLR P1.5. So sending logic 1, logic 0. Similarly, if you're using it as an 8-bit port, okay, if you're using it as an 8-bit port, then you refer it, see, you refer it as MOV P1 comma hash 0 FF hex. That is, you're sending 11111 on all the pins of port 1. Okay, so you could have also written this as, right, the way it is mentioned. So just let me come to the slide. Okay, I could also write the same instruction can be written as, here P1 is referred by its name, whereas I'll refer P1 by its address. So MOV, what is an address of P1? 90 hex, comma, what do you want to send on that port? Hash 0 FF. Right? So whatever instruction I have written now and the earlier instruction MOV P1 comma hash FF or MOV 90 comma hash FF is doing FF hex. Huh? Let me write there FF hex. So both the instructions are doing the same thing. Okay, both the instructions are doing the same thing. And now this port 1, the port 1 has an internal pull-up already. Okay, port 1 inside the circuitry inside the microcontroller, there is an internal pull-up already present. So we need not do any external connection so as the port should function correctly. So port 1 has an internal pull-up. Port 0, it was an open drain port. Right? Whereas port 1 internal pull-up exists. And it is quasi bidirectional. It means at a time, either the port you will be used as an output port, and then we have to initialize it so that the port will function as an input port. So at a time, either the direction of data transfer will be either output or input, not bidirectional. Okay, port 0 is bidirectional when it functions as data bus D0 to D7. Whereas port 1 is quasi bidirectional. We need to initialize the port so as to function as input. Okay. So then now let us see the structure of port 1. See, onto the right hand side, it is at port 1 pin P1.X I have written. So that is a structure which is applicable to all the 8 pins P1.0, P1.1, P1.7. So such circuitry is available for each and every pin of port 1. Okay, and see what is it? The circuitry is inside the microcontroller, and this is that 40 pin which we normally use, P1.X. And see, there is an internal pull-up already present. See, I have shown one box. Mean that's again a MOSFET structure here, which is acting as a resistor. We have that internally active pull-ups. Okay. Active and passive device, hope you all are aware with. Resistor is a passive device, whereas MOSFET is an active device. So here we have MOSFET as a pull-up. So internal pull-up already exists. And that MOSFET is behaving as a resistor. Remember that. Okay. And then the lower MOSFET, the one of the terminal is grounded. Per terminal is drain terminal, and that drain is connected to the pull-up and the pin. Right? Where is this MOSFET connected from? From the latch, D latch. So same circuitry as your port 0. Only thing is there is no control circuitry here because port 1 is a dedicated IO port. It is not a multifunction port. So that middle control circuitry is not present. Whereas the latch and the buffers are as that of port 0. So you have that D latch. Is that okay? D latch is connected to the internal data bus, the data bus inside microcontroller. Clock is connected to the control signal, write to latch control signal, right? And these are the two tri-stated buffers. Is that okay? Buffers or the drivers. The lower buffer is reading the pin data, and the upper buffer is reading the latch data. Now by now, hope this is clear to you all. When is the pin data read and when is the latch data read? Is that okay? Pin data is when the pin is only functioning as a source operand. Right? Right? And when is the latch data read? When the pin is functioning as source as well as destination. Okay, so we saw a few examples like before. Complement P1.0. It means read the data from P1.0, complement and send it on the pin. I mean, what are you doing? What are we doing? The pin is acting as a source operand as well as a destination operand. What functions are happening? Read, modify, write. At that time, the latch data is read. Okay. And in this case, pin data only when the pin is acting as a source operand. So MOV C, P1.0. I mean, read the data from pin 1.0 and save it in the carry flag. Destination is carry and P1.0 is the source. At that time, the pin data is read, mean the lower buffer is enabled. Is that okay? Now we will see how does this entire circuitry function. So see, some two instructions have been written down. MOV P1 comma hash 00 mean we are sending logic 0 on all the pins of port 1. So this is an 8-bit data transfer instruction, whereas the down one clear P1.0. So this is a 1-bit data transfer instruction. So we are clearing P1.0, 1 pin. It means what are we doing? What will microcontroller do? It will send logic 0 on the pin. Clearing the pin means output logic 0 on port 1. Okay. So how does this start working? Look into when microcontroller is executing any of these instruction, MOV P1 or CLR P1.0, the first thing that happens is, first thing that microcontroller does is it will place logic 0 on the internal data bus because we are going to clear the pin. So logic 0 is placed on the internal data bus. Then it will activate write to latch control signal. This signal is acting as a clock to the latch. Mean the latch will get enabled and the data, the D data will be transmitted on the output queue. So Q will show 0. Okay, when the latch is enabled, right? Q bar will be its complement, right? Now, because of this logic 1, NMOS is going to turn on. Because of this logic 1, lower NMOS is going to turn on. And now there is a current which is going to flow from VCC through the internal pull-up, through the MOSFET to the ground. Okay, so when the MOSFET is on, this pin P1.X pin is going to get shorted to ground because the lower MOSFET is on. Okay, and then what about the upper side? This is VCC minus, I told you all, the internal pull-up is nothing but a resistive load, a MOSFET which is behaving as a resistor, right? So assume this is a one resistor. So whenever this MOSFET is on, a large amount of current is going to flow through this resistor. And there is going to be a voltage drop, V is equal to I into R. Right? What is the voltage drop across the resistor? The current flowing through it into the resistance value. And how much is this voltage drop? Which is equal to VCC. So this is VCC. The voltage drop is VCC. So what is the node voltage here? VCC minus VCC 0. Okay. So when your lower MOSFET is on, as it is, the pin is getting shorted to ground. As well as from the upper connection, it is showing a 0 volt. So that's how what gets transmitted? Logic 0 gets transmitted on the pin. Okay, so what was the instruction getting executed? Clear the pin. So that's done. Logic 0 is sent on the pin. Is that okay? Right? Now, let us send logic 1 on the pin. So the instruction that can be executed is MOV P1 comma hash 01X. So microcontroller is sending 000 on the remaining pins and logic 1 is sent on P1.0. So let us assume this is P1.0 pin. Okay. Or microcontroller is executing the other instruction, right? Set bit P1.0. Set bit P1.0. It means what is microcontroller going to do? Send logic 1 on the pin. It means output logic 1 on port pin. Okay, so now how does this work? So sending logic 1. So what is the first thing microcontroller does? Places logic 1 on the internal data bus. Then activates write to latch control signal logic 1. It is acting as a clock to the latch. Right? Now once the latch is enabled, the data D data gets transmitted at Q. The latch Q bar will be its complement. This logic 0 to NMOS turns the NMOS off. Okay, the NMOS is turned off. Off means open circuit. Okay, at the downside, the MOSFET goes off because of this logic 0. Off means open circuit. So there is no current which is going to flow through this. Okay, mean there is no voltage drop across the resistor. I told you, what is this? This is a MOSFET. We have a MOSFET here which is functioning as a resistor. Mean the MOSFET is already on, right? A MOSFET to behave as a resistor mean the MOSFET is always going to be on. Okay, so now there's no current flow through this resistor, but the MOSFET is on. Hence this VCC gets shorted to this pin. So what logic will be available on this pin? This pin will be connected to VCC by the internal pull-up. Okay, and hence the name given is pull-up, students. What is this doing? The upper circuitry is bringing the pin to VCC. Hence the name pull-up. Okay, so what appears on the pin? When the lower MOSFET is off, logic 1 is going to appear on the pin. And that is what we wanted. Okay, what did microcontroller do? What did microcontroller do? Microcontroller executed the instruction set bit P1.0 or MOV P1 comma hash 01. Right? So P1.0 is logic 1 in both the cases. So that's how logic 1 is sent on the port pin. Is that okay? So these both were output operations, writing operation. So remember, students, writing is what? First, the latch is written, and from the latch, the data gets transmitted to the pin. That's how the write operation happens. Okay, writing operation is first the latch gets modified and the latch forwards the data on the pin. Whereas reading is different. Reading is two ways reading. Either read the pin or read the latch. Hope you all are getting me. While writing, always write the latch first and the latch forwards it on the pin. Okay, students. So let us see a read operation now. Now reading means input operation. Microcontroller is reading the pin means microcontroller is taking the data in. Okay. Right. Now reading the pin. Now again, reading means input. Input means initialization is required. Okay. So the first instruction, see, I have written two instructions, but then I have not written or in between. Why? Because both the instructions are compulsory, one after the other. First instruction is initializing the pin as input, and the second instruction is operating on that pin. Okay, so the first instruction, what it does is MOV P1 comma hash 01 hex. So I'm assuming this is P1.0. So what am I doing here? Sending logic 1 on the lowest pin, P1 pin 1.0. Why? So that it should function as an input. So see, when the first instruction gets executed means we are sending logic 1. We are sending logic 1. So what is it happening? First instruction execution, controller places 1 on the data bus, activates write the latch. This enables the latch. Input data gets transmitted on Q. Q bar becomes its complement. This turns off the MOSFET. Okay, so what is it going to happen? Logic 1 will appear on the pin because of the first instruction. MOV P1 comma hash 01 hex. We have initialized the pin as an input pin. Initialization means what again? Turning off the MOSFET. This pin will have only one connection left to go, and that is through the buffer. Right? Turning off the MOSFET means this pin will, the signal flowing on this pin will have only one path through the buffer. Okay, so this became the initialization. Now controller will execute the next instruction. What is the next instruction? MOV A comma P1. Mean 8-bit port data is taken in accumulator. Or look at the instruction ahead. What instruction have I written? MOV C comma P1.0. Yeah. What instruction I have written? MOV C comma 1.0 mean the second instruction is 1-bit port data is copied in C, and the first instruction is 8-bit port 1 data is copied in accumulator. Okay, so let us assume 1 bit is execution. So after initialization, the second instruction will get executed, reading the pin. Okay, so now see what have we connected on the pin? The green, whatever green color you see, right? That is given by the programmer or the user. User has made this pin ground. So that green color is showing externally we have connected, we have grounded the pin. Okay. And now while executing the second instruction, MOVC, P1.0, microcontroller will activate the pin, read pin control signal. Why? Because we are only reading from the port. The port is only the source operand. In that case, read pin control signal gets activated. So see the green color lower buffer. This is the read pin control signal. This enables the lower buffer. Buffer is what? Whatever is at the input, it transmits at the output. That's the job of the buffer. As well as increase the signal capacity. So once the buffer is enabled, this logic 0, correct? See, this logic 0 gets transmitted like this through this path, through this lower buffer, and comes to the internal data bus. So at that data bus, I will have logic 0. Right? And then microcontroller will copy this in the carry flag to execute MOVC, P1.0. Is that okay? Right? Now, if instead of logic 0, we would have given logic 1, look at the blue color. Okay, right? So, if the programmer or the design or the user has connected this pin to VCC, the blue color is VCC, logic 1, right? Then again, microcontroller, the instruction is again, the port is acting as a source, not the destination. So again, read the pin will be activated. See the blue color. This will enable the buffer or the driver. And this logic 1 will be transmitted on the through this path, through the lower buffer, it will be placed on the internal data bus. You see the blue color. So we are reading pin. The instruction executed is MOVC, P1.0. Right? And now we will look into the instruction complement P1.0. Complement the port pin. Right? So now before writing complement, we should initialize port P1.0 as input. So the first thing has to be done is MOV P1, #01 hex. That is initialization. P1.0 will act as an input. The remaining pins we are not disturbing. The remaining pins are 0000, whereas only the lower pin, see here, P1.0 is logic 1. So only the lower pin is acting as an input. The other remaining pins of port 1 will act as an output. Because output we need not do any initialization. Okay, so the first instruction has to be done. Initialization has to be done. Sending logic 1 on P1.0. So logic 1 on the data bus, write to latch is activated. This acts as a clock, mean the latch gets enabled. When the latch is enabled, data gets transmitted on Q. The Q bar is its complement and it turns off the MOSFET. And that logic 1 is sent on the pin. What is this? It's initializing the pin as input. And now complement P1.0. What instruction is getting executed? Complement pin 1.0. And now there, P1.0, read, modify, and write. The operations happening with P1.0 is read, modify, write. Okay, P1.0 is the source as well as the destination. So microcontroller will automatically enable the read latch signal. So let's see. Now suppose we have grounded the pin. Okay, we have grounded the pin and it's logic 0. And microcontroller is executing CPL P1.0, complement P1.0. Due to this instruction, microcontroller will activate the upper buffer. It will activate read latch control signal. And this read latch, see, it is the upper buffer, upper driver. And where is it connected to the latch? So what is there at the latch? Logic 1. So the latch data gets transferred through the upper buffer onto the data bus. So what appears on the data bus? Logic 1. Whereas what is at the pin? The pin is logic 0. Okay. So it's, if we thought of complementing the pin, that is not happening. What is getting complemented? The latch is getting complemented. And what is latch? What is the latch data? The last write operation. What last written was? Set the port. What is happening is, when the port is read, modify, write, the latch data is taken. And what is the latch data? The last written operation is available on the latch. So many of the times we are thinking of referring to the pins. Okay, we do not want latch data many of the times. So always never write instruction like this, CPLP 1.0. No, it's not going to pick the pin. So what we should do is, right, instead of writing it like this, right, what should we do is, we should first, like we did it in the last time, I should first MOV take it in accumulate carry flag, whatever data I want, P 1.0. Okay, I should take it in the carry flag, and then, okay, and then I should complement the carry, comma, and then I should save it. I should send it on the pin. So P 1.0. These are the three things I should do, right? I've specified that in red color. These are the three instructions I should do so that the pin will be read. Okay, students? Okay. So now let us go to the next. Let us go to port 2. Now port 2, the pins are from pin 21 to 28. Okay, so these are the port 2 pins. Port 2 is combined with upper address bus A8 to A15. Okay. Now, if you all remember, microcontroller has 16 address bus, 16 address lines, A0 to A15, and 8-bit data lines, D0 to D7. Okay. So out of that, port 0 had A0 to A7 addresses. Port 2 has A8 to A15 addresses. And because of this address and data bus, we can interface external memory to microcontroller. Okay, so port 2 is a dual function port. Either it will function as an IO port, or it will function as a higher order address bus, A8 to A15. It is quasi bidirectional, mean partially bidirectional. Either it will function only as an output port, you initialize, then it will start functioning as an input port. And also during address bus, it functions as an output. Address bus is unidirectional. It is output to microcontroller. Okay, so port 2 is partially bidirectional, quasi bidirectional. Okay, and on reset, the port functions as an IO port. Okay, whenever we reset microcontroller, right, by default, the port functions as an IO port. Logic 1 is sent on all the pins, and thus the pins are initialized as inputs. They are ready to read. That's applicable for all of them. Right? And I told you all, this is one of the way to check whether all your ports are functioning correct or not. See, whenever you buy microcontroller from the market, I think so I had told you all this before. Whether all your 40 pins are in working condition or not, you can check this. Just put that microcontroller on the breadboard, only few connections. Give VCC 5 volt, pin number 40 VCC, pin number 20 grounded. Connect the crystal oscillator in pin 18 and 19. That's it. And then check each and every pin. On each and every pin, you should see 5 volt, 5 volt, 5 volt, logic 1, logic 1, logic 1 on all the pins. If you get that, mean your microcontroller is correct. Mean it's in the working condition. Okay. So whenever we reset controller, logic 1 appears on all the pins and they are initialized as inputs. Okay. And whenever an external memory is interfaced, right, automatically these pins start functioning as address lines A8 to A15. Okay, and again I say, how does microcontroller understand there is an external memory? Sorry. How does microcontroller understand that an external memory is connected? It is because of that pin EA bar, external access pin, or when the microcontroller is executing instruction MOVC, copy the code memory, right? The code memory beyond 4 KB, then it tries to look for external memory. Or when it is executing MOVX. So these are the various instances where microcontroller understands that this is an external memory transfer. And these pins will automatically start functioning as address pins. Okay. Now port 2 also has an internal pull-up. We need not connect anything, right? Port 2 will function properly. It has internal pull-up inside. And port 2, the address is A0 hex. Port to A0 hex. If you want to use bit by bit, P2.0, P2.1, P2.7, the addresses are A0, A1, A2, A7 hex. Okay, so that was our port 2. Remember, it is combined with, it's a dual function, either IO port or address bus. Okay, means again dual function means, see, the diagram is exactly similar to port 0, students. Yes or no? Right? Whereas in port 1, it is a slide which I am showing now is of port 1. It was a single functionality port, so the control circuitry was absent. See, the middle circuitry was absent. Now, in case of port 2, we have that control circuitry. This is the circuitry which controls the functionality, whether it should function as an IO port or whether it should function as an address bus. And the diagram is exactly similar to the port 0. What's the only difference? That internal pull-up. Okay, instead of showing MOSFET, we have shown just one box indicating it's an internal pull-up. But again, you should know what is inside. It's a MOSFET inside. Now, the only change in the diagram is, okay, see here, the middle circuitry MUX. By default, the switch is connected as an IO port, mean at the lower side. When it gets connected to the upper side, then it starts functioning as an address bus, whereas the switch is by default at the lower side, where it functions as an IO port. And now the connection is coming from Q with an inverter, which is again similar to as if connecting to Q bar. But since in the manual, the diagram is given like this, so we have shown it like this. Okay, but then in earlier diagrams, the multiplexer, the connection was coming from Q bar. Okay, now the connection is coming from Q with an inverter. Logically, it's the same. But then since in manual it is shown like this, even I have shown it like this. Okay, that's the only change. Whereas the entire circuit is similar to port 0. So that's P2.X, that's the 40 pin, one of the 40 pin, which is connected to internal pull-up, the lower MOSFET. The lower MOSFET connection is coming from the multiplexer. Right? This multiplexer decides the functionality of the pins, either IO pin or address pin. That is decided by the multiplexer. The select line of the multiplexer comes from the internal control signal. Okay, this is a control signal which is generated internally by the microcontroller while executing the instruction. See, we say decoding, right? What is the first operation happens? Fetch the instruction, decode the instruction. And in that decoding, all these control signals get generated. Read the latch, read the pin, this control signal, right? This all control signals are getting activated during the decoding phase, decoding and the execution phase. Okay. And as well as this AND gate, see here, this AND gate is controlling the pull-up. Okay. And then that's the latch. And then these are the two tri-stated buffers. The buffers are the drivers, students. So that's my circuitry for port 2. Okay, such you will have 8 circuits inside for 8 pins of port 2. Okay, so let us see the right operation, and by now hope even you all are able to explain the operation happening. See, majority of the time in exam they will ask you draw the internal structure of port 2 and explain its write operation or explain its read operation. So you have to draw this diagram, you have to write one instruction, and how does this instruction, how does this entire circuitry work for that instruction, you have to explain. Right, the way I'm explaining now, it's the same explanation is expected to be written. Okay, so that's the internal structure of port 2. So let us see how the write operation is going to happen. What writing? Logic 0. So microcontroller is sending logic 0 on port 2. So the instruction written here is MOV P2 comma hash 86 hex. So just concentrate on the lower pin P2.0. 86 1000 and 6 0110. So the lower pin is logic 0. Or controller is executing CLR P2.0. So that is again output logic 0 on pin or write logic 0 on the pin. Microcontroller writes logic 0 on the pin. Okay. So now, by now, you all will also be able to tell how this works, students. We have explained quite a lot circuits. So what is that going to happen first? When any of this instruction is getting executed, right? What is going to happen first? See, logic 0 will be placed on the internal data bus. Students, is that not? Will you all be able to explain this? I mean, can you imagine what things will going to happen in sequence? Okay. So logic 0 will be placed on the internal data bus. What next? Write to latch signal will be activated. Control signal will be activated. This is acting as a clock to the D latch. Mean the D latch gets enabled. Data D input gets transmitted on Q. So logic 0 gets transmitted on Q. The inverter will make its complement. Right. So by default, see, the port functions as an IO. So that multiplexer switch is at the lower side. So this logic 1 gets transmitted by the MUX to this MOSFET. Okay. Logic 1 to the NMOS mean that MOSFET is going to turn on. And whenever the MOSFET is on, I told you all, even a large amount of current flows through this. So in both the ways, the pin gets connected to ground, as well as the large drop here, VCC minus the large drop, 0 appears from the upper side. So in any case, logic 0 is going to appear on the pin. So that is write logic 0 on pin. When this instruction gets executed, clear P 2.0. This is how the pin is cleared. Okay, students. And now we are writing logic 1. So the instruction is set bit. Okay. So now what am I doing? I'm sending logic 1 on P2.0. Okay, students. So how is it going to work? So logic 1 on the internal data bus, microcontroller activates write to latch signal. This activates, enables the D latch. Logic 1 gets transmitted on Q. The inverter makes it complement. This logic 0 is transmitted by the multiplexer towards the MOSFET. And logic 0 means the MOSFET is turned off. Off means open circuit, electrically open. Mean this pin, there's no current flowing through this. Right? There's no current flow, there is no voltage drop. Mean this pin gets connected to VCC. So what appears on the pin? Logic 1 appears on the pin. So that was set bit P2.0. That P2.0 bit is set. Microcontroller did write logic 1 on the pin. Is that okay? And see, in both the cases, during write operation, whatever is the latch gets forwarded on the pin. That's the write operation. Is that okay? So let us stop here, students. Hope you all have understood the ports. How does the port function? Okay, so let us stop here. Thank you for attending. So bye and see you on Wednesday.